Om Sahana Vavatu Sahana Bhunaktu Sah Viryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Sadashiva Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam. Om Samastajana Kalyane Niratam Karunamayam Namami Chinmayam Devam Sadgurum Brahma Vidvaram. Hari Om, salutations to all. So, welcome back to this question and answer session that we have been having earlier also once a month. Some of you have sent some questions, so I'm going to take those first. And then if we have time, if there are any questions on the spot, then people can ask. So one question has come from R. Arvind from Vishakhapatnam. What is Nija Swarupa of Brahman? So Nija Swarupa of Brahman is Satchidanand, infinite consciousness, existence, consciousness, and bliss. Brahman is that which is beyond space, time, and causation, Desha, Kala, Vastu, Aparichinna. And so Brahman is a non-dual reality. There is nothing else except Brahman alone. If at all we see the world, then it is the appearance of Brahman. Without undergoing any change, Brahman appears as the world. So that is Satchidananda Swarupa of Brahman. Why is Govinda depicted as blue-skinned, while there are many scriptural evidences that he was Neela Megha Shyama? So Neela itself is blue. Now Megha Shyama is the dark cloud. So see, depiction-wise, people can do any depiction. Many places in Vrindavan and other places, you will see black color murti also is there of Bhagavan Krishna. Now some places, if you see them, in books, etc., painted as blue. So one of the purposes is that the mind will see, our eyes and our senses will see what is infinite as blue. So the sky by itself doesn't have any color, but it appears blue to us. The ocean doesn't have any color, but it appears blue to us. So blue is associated with infinity. And so some places Bhagavan is depicted as blue because he's actually infinite in his true nature. So whether it is Neela Megha Shyam or it is blue, our understanding should be that he is Bhagavan who is infinite. Then you were one of the few brahmacharis ordained by Gurudev Swami Chinmayananda. Please share an anecdote where he has given you the knowledge of the highest by taking simple examples from everyday life. First of all, I was not ordained by Gurudev as a brahmachari diksha. I was in Balvihar that time when Gurudev took Mahasamadhi. Not Balvihar, I was in my 10th standard actually, when 1993 when Gurudev took the Mahasamadhi. So there is no, first of all, knowledge of the highest, giving simple examples from daily life, that can only be analogies. But he has not given directly anything like that to me. We have heard Gurudev from childhood, various Gita talks and many other lectures. So that way association has been there. Gurudev has given some prizes which I had won, so I got some prizes from him. Otherwise, I have heard Gurudev in his Gita talks, heard of various chapters of the Gita. And there are no individual instances where he gave separate knowledge to me. When he came to Bhiksha to our house, for Bhiksha to our house, around 89 or around 90, 1990. So that time when Gurudev finished the Bhiksha, all of us were going, and he was going, all of us were prostrating. So when I prostrated, he gave a big tap on my back and he said, Namaskar nahi chalega, study well. So that personally, that much is his instruction to me. So I followed his instruction. I am studying and continue to study. So that. Okay, next Malaji has sent some questions. The term upadhi has been explained in different ways. One is it is conditioning or limiting the unlimited, like the akash due to upadhi is ghatakash, mathakash, etc. This I can understand. The other meaning, where the example of a crystal and a blue cloth is given, where the cloth lends its quality to crystal. In this example, the cloth has an intrinsic quality of color blue. But when the body is compared to the cloth, how can body lend anything, and that also to Brahman, from which it borrows everything? My confusion arises from the word lend. So the point here is, body is, first of all, the need to explain this arises because there is a duality. Point one. Point two, that the example of the crystal and the cloth, the word lend, so cloth is not lending anything to the crystal. Crystal has a property whereby it will reflect. So if something is nearby, it will reflect. So cloth is kept there, so it is reflecting. We, in language, we say that, okay, cloth is lent its blueness to the crystal. But cloth is not lending anything. So that's a limitation of words and language. Three, if we understand the example of Brahman and body there, coming close to each other, in the sense, of course, Brahman is that from which the body takes everything, in the sense that the existence of the body itself is because of Brahman. Brahman is that which lends so-called existence. So again, the lend is limitation of language. So Brahman as though lends the existence to the body. What does body lend to Brahman? In the sense, body makes Brahman, which is infinite, appear as finite. See, this example comes because of that iron and fireball example. Iron and fireball, when they come close to each other, this iron, which is cold, which is dark, which is round, and fire, which is hot, which is bright, which is formless, if this iron and fireball come together, then this iron will appear as hot. Fire will appear as round. Iron is not hot, fire is not round. Iron is heavy, fire is not. But this is Anyonya Adhyasa. In Vedanta, we say Anyonya Adhyasa. Adhyasa only means mutual superimposition. Anyonya is mutual. There is only superimposition. There is no actual becoming, or there is no actual transformation. So if you separate that, the fire and iron ball will come back to their natural states. If they are in association, then there is a mutual superimposition, which is not real transformation. It's only an appearance. Adhyasa it is. So body which is inert appears sentient. Atma or Brahman, which is infinite, appears finite. That is the mutual superimposition that has happened. That's all is the meaning. That this lending word is only like it is a limitation of language. Nobody is lending anything to anybody actually. In the proximity, it appears like that. Bas. So Malaji is here. Yeah. If you have a doubt, then you can raise the hand. All right. Next. Dipali Ved. Okay, now the questions which are specifically related to the question answer, I am not replying to that here. I will separately send you by mail. While reading about the three shariras, we wanted to know in which sharira do the accumulation of karmas travel from one life to another. Do they travel as a part of chitta or as a part of the vasana? They will travel as both, because all of us know that every karma, what we do, will leave an impression. No? So that impression will anyway be there. So the visible result is the experience at the body, mind, intellect level, which will be retained in the memory. Invisible result is the impression that is in the subtle body that is created. Causal body, that is vasana, that is created. So when the body drops, both will travel. Only the gross body is left here. Subtle body, causal body together will travel. And according to the whatever next karma is ready to give result, it will take a new gross body. So the karma accumulated will travel in memory also and in the vasana also. And the memory, of course, gets reorganized as per the the new karmas that have to be exhausted. So many of the memories will go from the conscious mind to subconscious to unconscious mind, which is what happens to us every night when we go to sleep. And in fact, every day, every moment it keeps happening. But much more concretely and specifically, it happens when we go to sleep. So the conscious mind has gone to sleep, intellect is not functioning, so it goes, the memories get into the subconscious, into the unconscious. So the next morning we are fresh to again receive new experiences of the day. And that's why if we have not slept enough, we are very irritable, vulnerable, because the reorganizing of memory has not happened and mind is saturated, it is full. So the in-between transition time between two bodies also is one of the things that happens is similarly this reorganizing of the memories will happen. And that's why some of them may recollect their past lives also as small children, etc., because then the memories are still there in the conscious as well as subconscious mind. They have not gone fully into the unconscious. From BMI perspective, why are we considered as mithya and not considered as asat? See, if it is considered as asat, then there is no discussion. No? Asat means does not exist. So where is the discussion? From whom? From asat standpoint, if you see, Brahman alone is there. There is nothing else. Brahman is sat. Means it alone exists. Everything else is asat. It does not exist. That's the highest standpoint. Ajatavada it is, where Brahman alone is no creation, no creator, no creation, no creature, nothing. So obviously the question does not arise then. So if there is a BMI that we are seeing, there are only two choices. Either it is real or it is illusory, because it can't be non-existent and I am seeing it. It's not possible. If I am seeing it, even though it is non-existent, that means it's an illusion. Whatever is not existent I am seeing is an illusion, right? If I see the water in the desert, the mirage, technically it is non-existent, but if I am seeing it, then what will be told? That it is illusory. So it has to be illusory from that standpoint. Okay, so rest of them are specific to the evaluation, I think. So that I will answer. Okay, Parul Desai. What is Brahma Muhurat? What is its duration and timing? What is its importance? So Brahma Muhurat starts 2 Muhurtas before sunrise. So 136 minutes before sunrise. 1 Muhurta is 48 minutes. 136 minutes before sunrise to 48 minutes. That is Brahma Muhurat time proper. So 48 is 96. 96 and one more 48. So around, so 2 Muhurtas before sunrise, it will start. Not it will start. That is it will end, sorry. 2 muhurtas before sunrise it will end. So suppose 6:30 is the sunrise, 136 minutes before 6:30. So what will it be? So 6:30, go back 2 hours, 16 minutes. So 4:30 and 16 minutes before that. So 4:14. So Brahma Muhurat will start at 4:14. And it will go on up to 48 minutes more. That's the exact Brahma Muhurat time. One Muhurta is 48 minutes. So the starting time, so some places it is said it is 1 Muhurta, some places it is said 2 Muhurta. So 48 minutes or 96 minutes. Generally it will be 48 only. So 4:14 onwards to next 48 minutes will be the Brahma Muhurat. Exact. Now what is its importance? So its importance is maximum Sattva Guna is prevalent at that time. And a person has to, if one wants to do anything creative, the mind is most receptive at that time. And spiritual sadhana can get accelerated during that time. Because also it is that there are a lot of spiritual seekers, siddhas, mahatmas, they are also doing meditation at that time. And so those vibrations are available, a person is able to tune up. If one has slept early and one wakes up early, that is the best time even for the body. The mind is also fresh. Early to bed, early to rise is good for the body, good for the mind, good for spiritual health, for everything. And those who say, and many people will say that the punya level increases if one meditates in Brahma Muhurat time. Sattvic qualities are much more easily absorbed because the environment also has maximum Sattva Guna that time. In the whole 24-hour cycle, maximum Sattva Guna is there in that time, Brahma Muhurat time. Then as one comes closer to Rajoguna, the Sattva Guna keeps reducing, the closer to sunrise. Then from sunrise onwards, the Rajoguna time will start. And after sunset, the Tamoguna time will increase. So that's why the importance of Brahma Muhurat. And also since our mind has not got externalized yet, one has not started doing work and other things. So it is much more easier to turn that mind and engage it in the spiritual sadhana to know the truth, to know the self. So that's the importance. What is Matrugaya and Pitrugaya? What is the significance? Can a daughter perform them in spite of younger son and grandson, elder son being alive? So Matrugaya is the place in Siddhapur in Gujarat, and Pitrugaya is in the Bodh Gaya in Bihar. So the Shraddha of the mother side is done there, the father side is done there in Pitrugaya and Matrugaya, two different places. Significances are there in the scriptures of each place. Bodh Gaya is where Gayasur was killed by Vishnu Bhagwan, and he got a boon from Bhagwan that whose ever Shraddha is done there must get liberated forever. And Matrugaya, so that's Pitrugaya. And Matrugaya is Siddhpur, where Kapil Muni gave knowledge to Devhuti Mata, and it is said Devhuti Mata realized the truth there. The Kapil Gita was given there. So the mother side Shraddha is done that side again to attain higher states of evolution. People generally believe that if you go and do Shraddha there, then once and for all it is done, then every year you don't have to do. But the Shastra does not say you don't have to do. Shastra only says if you do there, the Pitrus will get Sadgati and they will go to higher levels of consciousness. But Shraddha can be done throughout life. And wherever the jiva is, it will benefit them. Now, can the daughter do? So, if the maternal tradition is being followed in many places in our country, even the daughters perform Shraddha. If maternal tradition is not being followed, is the paternal tradition being followed, then they generally insist that the son has to do because the son belongs to the same gotra. So those technicalities one can decide based on the marriage, no marriage, and which gotra and son is there, not there. All those details one can figure out. Ask the Panditji, he will help out. How does one merge in divine light in the end? Vedanta does not believe in merging in any light at the end. Vedanta says you are Sachidananda Swarup Atma right here and now. To realize that is the purpose, and that is called Jivan Mukti. There is no merging at the end in any light. Right now you are divine. Even now as we interact, our true nature is Sachidananda alone. And to the purpose of all spiritual sadhana is to know that. There is no merging, emerging, coming, going, none of that. That happens only to finite entities. A wave can rise in the ocean, stay in the ocean, fall in the ocean, but there is nothing happening to water. Water by itself is as it is. So birth and death belong to the wave, not to the ocean. So coming, going, merging, emerging, all that is there at a very relative level. It is not at the absolute level. So Vedanta doesn't believe in any merging. In Gita, Shri Krishna says that he is the ultimate and that everyone emerges in him. You mean merges in him, I think. But as you said that as per Vedas and Purana, Shiva is the divine light one wants to merge with. What is the difference? There is no difference. Krishna and Shiva both are same Sachidananda Swarup Atma Brahman. There is no difference at all. People worship as per whatever their temperament is, whichever form they like, and they will reach the same goal. There is no separate goal that they will reach. Ultimate realization is Sachidananda Swarup Atma. Before one comes to that, if there is a realization that has not happened, then one may go to the loka of the upasya. If that is what one wants, then one may go to the Kailas is the lok where Shivji resides, and Golok is where Krishna Bhagavan resides, and that is as per their upasana. One will go to different lokas, but again, that is not the ultimate mukti. There also Bhagavan gives the knowledge. If the devotee wants that oneness, Bhagavan only gives the ultimate knowledge and the person comes to realize the Sachidananda Swarup. So there is no difference. They are one and the same. Whichever one you are worshipping, understand that as the supreme. There is no, we don't have to choose this is supreme or that is supreme. That's our human mind's limitation, that we think only one can be supreme. Infinity only one, and that is supreme. What is the meaning of Purnamada Purnamidam mantra? Purnamada means this is Purnam. This whole world is infinite. Purnamadaha means that is infinite, means cause is infinite. Purnamidam, this effect is also infinite. From where this has come? Purnat Purnamudachyate. From that which is infinite, this which is infinite has appeared. Purnasya Purnamadaya. From this which is infinite, if you remove that which is infinite, infinity alone remains. Purnameva avashishyate. The essence of the entire Vedic philosophy is in this. Brahman is infinite, and without undergoing any change, Brahman also appears as this whole creation. So obviously there cannot be two infinites. So there can be only one infinite, and that is Brahman alone. And Purnam, one who realizes will realize that it is not Brahman out there, it is Atma here which is infinite. So the purpose of that mantra is to realize that there is one infinity, and that is you as the true self. This whole world appears to us, it is truly not real as we think about it. It is an appearance which is illusory. Then what is the substratum? Substratum is the Supreme Brahman alone, which is appearing as this creation. And if we look beyond the appearance, so that third line says that from the effect, if you remove the cause, effect disappears, cause alone remains. So what if you remove from this and from the world? If the names and forms are removed, Brahman alone remains. And if you say that the names and forms are illusory and the truth alone is, then anyway the truth alone remains. Illusion disappears, it comes and goes. It is not real. So when a person does sadhana of Shravan, Manan, Nididhyasan on the Purnatvam of Brahman, that Purnatvam of Brahman is our true self. And one realizes that Purnamada mantra is actually saying, I am Purnam, because I feel Apurna, so I'm thinking happiness is in the world outside. So I'm running behind it, thinking it is real. Vedanta says that is not real. That in the sense even includes the BMI. So the idam means the whole world, including BMI, is illusory. Then what is real? What is behind this? That alone is real. That is a substratum. Substratum of the individual is Atma, substratum of the universe is Brahman. And if you inquire into the nature of both these, that is Purnam. It is not Apurna. BMI, if I identify, then I feel Apurnata. But the Tattva in us, if I identify, that is not Apurna, that is Purnam. So I am Purnam. Purpose of Purnamada mantra is to know that Aham Purnam, I am that Purna Tattva. And I am the very source of this entire creation. If at all you see the creation, then I am the source as the self, not as the individual. All right, so that is done. How to develop more devotion to reach the level of Prema Bhakti and Raga Bhakti. Now, I don't know what is your definition of Prema Bhakti and Raga Bhakti. Different people have different definitions. The supreme devotion, suppose we say you mean Para Bhakti, then what is the means to develop? Satsang is the means to develop. Seva of the devotees of Bhagavan is the means to develop. Nama Japa is the means to develop. Study of the scriptures and contemplating on the various aspects of Bhagavan. Nama, name, Rupa, form, Guna, qualities, Leela, various episodes that have happened in Bhagavan's life. Nama, Rupa, Guna, Leela, Kriya, what are the actions that Bhagavan does? Sambandh, what is my relationship with Bhagavan? Dham, where Bhagavan lives. Abode, Dham it is, where Bhagavan lives. And Swarup. More I engage with 8 of these, any one of these 8 or any combination of these 8, the mind will develop more and more bhakti towards Bhagavan. Gratitude is another way to develop bhakti, to be thankful to Bhagavan for whatever Bhagavan has blessed us with, positive and challenges, everything. To feel grateful, to thank Bhagavan, to build a specific bond with Bhagavan and then channelize the emotions. Any of these will help to strengthen the bhakti bhav. And ultimately it is prayer. Pray to Bhagavan that please bless me with more Shraddha and Bhakti. It is by Kripa of Bhagavan, Anugraha of Bhagavan that this happens. All these, satsang also will come by grace of Bhagavan. Nama Japa one can do by grace of Bhagavan. Form of Bhagavan one meditates. All happens by grace of Bhagavan. So we have to do our Purusharth and also understand that it is not my Purusharth alone that is getting all this. It is actually Kripa of Bhagavan. Right. Recently, I heard a person speak on euthanasia and assisted dying. He is a doctor who helps those who have a terminal illness and who wish to spare their families the pain and the exorbitant expenses of keeping them alive in a vegetative state. It is very difficult for any family member to make the decision to pull the plug off the medical apparatus, keeping their dear ones alive. My question is it okay for the individual to make a will by which he or she takes the decision that should he or she be in a vegetative incurable state, the family must discontinue all life-saving procedures? It is not legal in India, but some countries abroad have legalized euthanasia. Now, the question is it okay to write in the will? Now, that is your choice, that you can definitely write. There's nothing wrong in that. And as per the law of karma, we understand that whatever is the prarabdha the body has come to exhaust, it will exhaust. Sorry. So the body will not survive even with the heart and lung machine or whatever the medical apparatus is, if one tries to extend. And if one has to drop it, it will drop at the right time. It will go only when the karma is over. So with the heart and lung machine also, it can't be extended, and without it also, it may not die if it does not have to till its karma is exhausted. One may be in a vegetative state and it appears that there is no use of that, but that is our judgment. From karma standpoint, there may be some karmic things getting exhausted even in that vegetative state. Not only of that person, but the other people who are serving also. So as far as the will is concerned, nothing prevents one from writing that if I come into that state and you have to pull the, I don't extend my life through medical apparatus, you can leave the body to its prarabdha. So there is nothing wrong in that. Our culture does not say that you should not will. That's not a problem to will, to write it that way. Euthanasia by itself is not encouraged in the culture, because as I said, the prarabdha of the body, it has to go through, it will go through it. Nobody can prevent that. One may try as much as one can, even if it is made legal and whatever happens in some other countries. If that body has to live, it will live, no matter what. Circumstances will change, things will happen differently, that body will live. So once we understand the law of karma, we should know, okay, in my purushartha, right now, if I am willing this, okay, let the body not be sustained through artificial methods. You are willing it, that's all right, will it. No, nothing wrong in that. But also be ready to accept that whatever has to happen will happen as per prarabdha only. And so there is nothing to worry about. If in case even family has to take that call, if they understand law of karma, they will take the call. It is our purushartha, we have done whatever best we can. Now, if the person is not able to live without it, if we are pulling the plug, there is no problem in that. There is nothing wrong in that. So they need not feel guilty actually. But if they have not done their best and then they compromise, then anyway karmic consequences will come to them also. So understanding law of karma, then there should not be any confusion after that. Okay, so now the questions that were sent are over. There are some questions which have come here. How to identify my Swadharma? So Swadharma, see, as a young person, how to identify Swadharma is very different. As someone who has grown up, what does one mean by Swadharma there? That has to be understood. If a young person is asking that question, it means that I want to choose which is my field or my profession. Then there are different things to do, different questions to ask, introspect, which even an elder can ask even at a whatever middle age or elderly age. But sometimes the answers don't come very clearly. One has to persist. So what are the questions? Some of the questions are, What is that which I have maximum interest in, doing which I lose the sense of time, where my best potential can manifest, where I can serve the society the best. If money was not a consideration, what would I do? What would I like to be remembered as? When I become old, if I look back, would I feel that I lived a life of purpose, doing what I really loved? Or will I have a regret? What do I enjoy the maximum? Which is the field which I love the most? Like that, there are many questions that one can ask. Then one will identify what is it that I wanted to become when I was a child, then when I was a teenager, then when I was a youngster. So there may be some common thread you can find in some of these, because when we are young, our mind is uninhibited by many social conditionings. And possibilities are, of course, there is ignorance also at that time. One doesn't know many options also, but possibilities are that many times the mind has much more clarity in childhood. Ki, this is what I want to become. Then, as one grows, various conditionings and thought processes change. So one may have forgotten that. And one may have got carried away by some other thought process. So there is a possibility that one can introspect that what was I wanting to be when I was a child, then when I was a teenager, then when I was a youngster, then young adult. That way, if you introspect, there may be some common link one may find. This is proper psychological tool also which is available. So that's how one finds what is my Swadharma. And if these are difficult questions to answer, or there is no proper clarity one is getting directly through these questions, then one has to explore and observe. Explore different fields and then observe where does the mind have more tendency to get absorbed, which it likes, which it wants to engage. Then that is the Swadharma. A person born or dies in Adhik Maas gets any special grace of Bhagwan. I have to actually see the scripture if it says anything about death as far as Adhik Maas is concerned. Sadhanas have Adhikasya Adhikam Phalam, that one knows. I have not come across very clearly about death as far as whatever I have read, limited things. But from what I understand, if the person has lived a sadhana my life and one remembers Bhagwan, best is going to happen to that person. Grace of Bhagwan is on all of us. There is no dearth of that, just that we don't recognize it. So our mind forgets Bhagwan and then suddenly wants some special grace because of some special considerations or some special conditions. But spiritual field doesn't work like that. Spiritual field is life is a continuity. So even if you see in the Gita when Bhagwan says Antakale cha mameva, you remember me even at the time of death, then you will come to me. But people don't understand the importance of that alphabet cha there. So they think that, oh, if I remember Bhagwan at the last minute of death, then I will go and become one with him. It is not said like that. It is said that even at the time of death, meaning through the life and at the time of death, if you remember me, you will become one with me. So life is a continuity. Grace of Bhagwan is there continuously on all of us. Samanya Kripa is there on everybody. Like sunlight is there everywhere. Now, if I have closed my window and I complain it is dark in my house, then we can't help it. Open the window. But if you want Vishesh Kripa of sunlight, then have solar power, solar cells and all that, and then tap the power of the sun and then utilize it. So Samanya Kripa is there on everybody. If one remembers Bhagwan and lives the life appropriately, then one experiences moment by moment the grace of Bhagwan. Otherwise, one thinks I am only doing everything, and the ego and egocentric desires, they increase. And one remembers Bhagwan now and then in some trouble times. But the devotee is one who will remember always, as much as one can. So through daily sadhana, through karma yoga attitude, through surrender, through acceptance of results, one will keep on experiencing the grace of Bhagwan. Then one doesn't need a special grace of Bhagwan to happen in some special month, in a special condition, nothing. Bhagwan's name is enough, Bhagwan's kripa is always there. So continuously keep remembering. That is what the culture says. Adhik Mas is a special mass where one does sadhana to benefit much more. The purpose of Adhik Mas is to also help us to develop certain discipline. Otherwise, the mind is very tricky. It keeps on avoiding methods to do sadhana. It avoids. It finds so many reasons why sadhana should be postponed. So Adhik Mas, etc. No doubt, time-wise, it's an important time, and Puranic stories and other things are there. But as far as death is concerned, in my opinion, there is no separate result of somebody dying in Adhik Mas. If they have remembered Bhagwan and dropped the body, anyway, whatever result, special result of that has to come, it will come. All right, so these are the questions that were sent and which were shared here on the chat. If anybody has any other questions, you can raise your hand and then we will take them. Yes.
Yeah, you had spoken of euthanasia. Now, the difference then between euthanasia and suicide is the intention.
Definitely, because in euthanasia, the person is not aware. One. Two,
The person is aware. He has said that he wants to be, no resuscitation when he is in a state where he cannot make decisions. So he's making the decision prior to this and saying, my body is not working, so let me go.
Correct. So the decision has been made before, not now. When that body is not in the right condition, that decision has not been made. If the body comes into that state, then you ensure that it is not prolonged. That decision has been made earlier, right?
Yeah.
So the point there is that the person is not capable of facing life there and the challenges because the body is in that kind of condition. So the person has said that if I come to that state, then you pull the plug or don't prolong the life. In suicide, the person is mentally resigning. It's not that the body is incapable. So one is the intention, second is the attitude, both. The attitude there in suicide is escape from problem.
Yes.
Attitude here is not that. Attitude here is if I'm anyway in vegetable state, then what is the point? So then don't prolong it. So the suffering of others also will end there.
Reduced, correct. Okay.
So that is the difference.
Thank you.
Hariom Swamiji. Swamiji, I had a question about how the karmas ripen, or how will they give the result, in which order? Because sometimes we were discussing this in our AVC class, that sometimes if you get hurt, immediately there is a bruise or a pain. And sometimes something happens which you don't know from where that came. So, we were discussing if it's like a FIFO method, or so how does that work? That was the question.
There is no way to know that. Bhagwan's kripa it is. Bhagwan is the karma phaladata. Bhagwan knows the karmas of many jivas, and accordingly, appropriate time, Bhagwan gives the karma. And good it is that we don't know how it works, because human being is very nasty in his thinking. then human being starts finding some fault or the other. See, even with the basic law of karma itself, people don't agree on that. They think that this whole thing is happening somehow just like that. There is no law of karma, there is no cause and effect, there is nothing, it is randomly going on. When there is enough cause and effect functioning, one is able to see it so clearly. Just because one does not know some earlier karmas which one has done, for which one is getting the result now, so one wants to dismiss it. So it is not possible to know. The only way to know is become Ishvara. You lift the mind to the level of Ishvara, then come to know all the jivas, their karmas, and then understand, oh, this karma got this result at this moment because of XYZ backstories and results. I mean, karmas. That's the only way to know. There's no other method to know which karma will give result when. That's why Bhagavan is a karma phala data. We have to have Shraddha there, ki at the right time the result is coming, because there are so many variable factors to take into account before a result comes. And Bhagavan knows those variable factors, and Bhagavan knows which jiva has to come together with which jiva for how much time and when that result has to be given. All that Bhagavan only knows. So best is not to go into that at all. There is no systematic method whereby one will know, okay, these karmas will give results first, and then these karmas will give after that, and these will give last. It is not available like that. Bhagavan only will give. Some karmas will come as though immediately, some karmas after some months, some karmas will come after some years, some will come after many lives also. Now, which life, what karma gives result, nobody knows.
Swamiji, just a follow-up question is, do our scriptures talk about how the vasanas get exhausted? I mean, one is to detach the non-identification, and is there anything else as well spoken
Every
about?
minute what is happening is vasana exhaustion only. Now what else is happening?
As
Every
in, which will
will
not result in, you know,
impossibility. How can a vasana not give a result? It's like saying cause will not give birth to an effect. It will not happen like that. Every vasana will manifest unless they are completely burnt away by the fire of knowledge, where we say in the Gita, it is said, Jnanagni dagdha karmanam tamahu panditam budhaha. One whose karmas, which means a sanchit karma, which is the unmanifest vasanas, if they get burnt with the fire of knowledge, only that person has become free. Till then, every vasana will give a result. Vasanas also are of sattvic, rajasic, tamasic type. So each vasana will fructify as what? It will manifest as a desire, which will manifest as a thought, then action, then result, which will further lead to vasana. That's the cycle of vasana. And obviously in one body we can't exhaust all the karmas, so we keep taking new bodies. New desires also arise on the way, so our vasana bundle keeps on increasing. So there is no way to circumvent this process and to feel that some vasanas will not give result. It will not happen. Then why would that vasana get created? A vasana is got created because there is a selfish desire in the heart somewhere. Ego and egocentric desires create the vasanas. And they are created because some karma I went through, which I liked, and then I created an impression that I want this further. So a vasana will be created. So the intention with which it has been put inside in the causal body is that it needs to manifest. So it will manifest. So there is no vasana which will not manifest. Only when it will manifest, one doesn't know. Anyone else? All right. Thank you, everyone. We shall meet again next month. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.